Welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today as we see if those crash callers are going to be right and we're going to get some kind of 2 hour roll. We're going to talk about the risky bearish things. We're going to talk about the bullish things because compared to the SPY, the Qs did something very impressive on the price action side of things. So I want to bring that up in this video, but there is something critical that volatility is calling with an 85% chance in the next 2 trading sessions. And we're going to get into that as we wrap up at the end of this video. So thank you so much for clicking, and let's get into some technical analysis here and look at some price action once we get over to the Qs. So if you weren't here yesterday, we were talking about the 2-hour divergence down here in the futures. But right now, I wanted to get you guys those updated daily expected moves. 692.32 to the upside for the SPY, 678.02 to the downside. So something critical here is you are testing off of that 5-day moving average. So let's go over kind of what would look pretty bearish, right? How does this market roll over, and how do we see extreme volatility come in as we're already at elevated volatile levels? Well, we do see that the 2-hour was able to cross up here. Very, very nice, but it's still not in that positive territory, right? We haven't seen that shoot in there. So really the 2-hour wants to keep going up. It's kind of hard to do if the 30 minutes rolling down. So we're really going to pay attention to that. We're going to wrap this all together. I hope you watch. If you're really interested in the SPY, watch the ending part where we do go over volatility, because we're going to tie it back into the SPY and give you the most probable situation for tomorrow, in my honest opinion, what I am looking for from this market to really make a decision, right? Actually make a decision on a trade. So we do see here at the 2 hours curled up, but it is testing off of that 5-day. What happens a lot of the time when you're about to head into a downtrend? You're actually seeing it right in front of you. You break a certain low, you break through that 5-day, you see everyone get bearish, maybe even outside of some data. You have like a weekly expected move where you know that starting some kind of short position is never the best thing to do, in my opinion. But we do see that this was able to bounce. Now, where would people most likely double down? Where would this like to react to? A lot of the time when you see that first breakdown, you will get a reaction to the 5-day moving average. So if that is able to roll here, you are at risk of seeing extreme volatility. I do not want to take that off the table. We are at a risky spot as of right now. Volatility is curled up on the daily scale. I don't want to mess around with things if that's curled up on the daily scale. And I don't see a 2-hour divergence. I don't see a 2-hour lower high from volatility to give us any hints here. So volatility can kick up again. And how do I stay away from that risk? If I think it's going up, 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 and I place my money that way, well, if the 2-hour rolls down, that immediately should be a red flag for me. If the 2-hour on the MACD, it's a simple reason to be like, hey, I need to stop with the bullishness for a moment. The 2 hours curled down in negative territory and volatility is extremely elevated. So that's important to see. Now, is tomorrow with a 68% chance, are we saying, hey, we're going to test that low? As of right now, it's just 678.02, so it's saying we can come down to this type of level. So we'll have to pay attention to it. If the 2-hour crosses down, then maybe this is able to carve something out here. Let's get into that for a moment here. The 30-minute chart able to go positive in some way, but let's go over price action first. We were not able to take out for the SPY. This is different than the Qs, so stick around for that. But you notice here, we weren't able to take out the previous high. So in a downtrend, price action really goes like this, right? You have a high, you make a low, you make a lower high, you make a lower low. And if you continue to do that, price action says you can continue to do that as long as you want, really. A lot of people get into 5 counts and things like that. But overall, you want to stay in that downtrend. So the fact that we have not broken through that high yet says we could still be in that downtrend, and you could see that big volatility come in. So what's a simple thing to look at here from our MACD? We see that we were able to go positive, but is that positive enough to really make me go like, hey, there's no risk of some kind of negative trend type move happening? No, there's not a lot of space here. So that tells me that if the 30-minute crosses down, sure, I could be a little bit cautious there, right? We're looking for this to break through this high so we can get the left head and right shoulder, but we haven't done that yet. So we can still carve out a higher low here. But for the bearish thing, it would say if the 30-minute crosses down here, you're at risk of crossing the 2-hour down. And if that wants to, we can fall through the floor. Now, what's more probable according to our daily expected moves? Well, since we did see a nice positive move, if you're able to, that's right, we're going to get into the bullish things. If you're able to carve out a higher low here, then this can be a positive trend of its own trying to begin, right? We can wipe out a lot of what's going on over here with price action just by carving out that higher low right here. So something you'll look for here is the 30-minute able to cross down, maybe coming down into that daily expected move, then confirming back to the upside. That would be a reaction that says we're going to continue to try to see positive things. And that 2-hour might be a blip on the chart. The 2-hour might not even be able to cross if something like this is able to happen. So the 2 hours curling down on the MACD will be our, hey, the market is extremely risky for those upside plays for a moment. But if the 30-minute, even if that does curl down on the 2 hour, if the 30-minute carves out that higher low, then it says we will test this high and potentially go make a new one. So very, very cool there. Now, if we are able to make a new high, that's even better. We're going more positive for the 30-minute, but if we, for whatever reason, say gap up to here, make a move up to here very quickly, starting positions to the call side would be difficult in this area. You would still very probable to get some kind of pullback to still get that type of structure. And I wanted to say that as we close up on the SPY. But let's get into the Qs, because the Qs are very different at this point. The Qs have done something very, very cool on the price action side of things. We can blatantly see here that the Qs are different. I mean, I'm sure people might even be giving arguments for divergence and things like that. I think it's too wonky to call that out. But the big deal here is the fact that your 2 hour was able to curl up and it's by the center line. It's positive right now. That's a great, great thing. So having daily expected moves will be great in case there's a pullback or a further squeeze, right? If I'm in some kind of position down here and I see more of a squeeze tomorrow, well, right around this level, we'd be taking out the critical area here to potentially pull back and head to the upside. So 618.73 going to be a critical level for you tomorrow. 602.39 to the downside, though, would be the opposite critical level. So something here, once again, it's really close to center line. So what's my risky thing? How could we go test this low and go make a new one? Well, if this 2 hour is able to cross down here, then testing the low and going to make a new one is very, very probable even still. But is price action agreeing with that? No, price action is not, and make sure to stick around for volatility for that 85% chance, guys. I'm going to tell you about it. We're going to talk about it once we get to volatility and wrap it in to the SPY at the end of this video. The difference here is this positive move, the gap we leave behind right around your daily expected move, price action wise, you were able to take out this level, which you weren't able to on the SPY. That tells us that the next probable move, if we do pull back, would be just that, a pullback that maybe takes care of this gap and turns into positive territory again. Why am I saying positive territory again? Because you are further from the center line than you are than the SPY. So you have a decent amount of space here where if you curl down, even if it took place all day and you curled up at the end of the day, you can see a pullback that leads to that buyer demand, right? We are going to most likely test these buyers. So if the 2 hours able to cross down, yes, it can be like, hey, this is a risky thing. But if I see the 30-minute able to confirm back up into positive territory, this can be a new positive trend just beginning. And we could be on our way to seeing a nice little Harry Potter right here by the very end of the week. Now, I want to be very, very open with the fact that I'm taking risk into consideration. I'm not playing around here. Even though the Qs were able to make that new high, IWM and the SPY were not, right? The structure to go higher, if we can see some kind of move up to here, right, your daily expected move of 265.43, that'd be fantastic, but we still would likely pull back to test those buyers to really say like, hey, this is our higher low, and to give us good structure. So I wanted to point that out. The 30-minute chart is still closer to the center line than the Qs, and you haven't made that new high, and you're right at that 5-day. So if that rolls, this can be risky. You can come all the way down and test these lows if you want, but your daily expected move is saying pretty much pay attention to 258, but 257.99. Very, very important here, because if the IWM is able to carve out something over here, some kind of higher low, then that could say that we're going into a new trend of its own and we can negate everything that's going on over here. So as of right now, this positive move right here, if it curls down, I want to be a little bit cautious of it, but if it's able to curl up before we see something extremely volatile, that would suggest a higher low. That would suggest we are going to test higher levels. So I'd really be watching for that. As of right now, you see that the daily chart is down by that center line for the IWM. Remember, the IWM does not have a lower high for the daily chart, does not have a divergence here for the daily chart in the upside, which means that this is kind of a reason why this entire time we've still been paying attention to bullish things. It's not to say that we'll never get overly bearish or anything like that, but we need to see some critical things be wiped out here. You still have bear trap signals at this point. If you don't want me to talk about bear traps, then stop showing bear traps in these charts, right? So if the 2 hours is able to curl up here, you notice it's still in negative territory. So I'm going to leave you off with the IWM before we get into that 85% chance going into volatility in the next piece here, I wanted to leave you off with this. If the 2-hour curls down, it's risky for the IWM. If the 2-hour curls down for the Qs, it's risky. If the 2-hour curls down for the SPY, it's risky. But if we're able to carve out that higher low on the 30-minute, that would be something worth reacting to. Okay, so why are we talking a lot about risk? Why are we talking in both directions? Why are we seriously talking about it? One, because of the state of the market right now, because of the state of the signals that we're seeing, but also two, volatility itself is curled up on the daily scale. And if you take it back, right, let's take it back to the weekly. Don't forget that we had this weekly divergence on the MACD. It is not on the RSI at the same time. That is why I've been highly, highly critical of it, right? A lot of people just see a divergence on their MACD and they go, oh, this has to play out. I use the RSI as well. I like them to be at the same time. And I notice that if I pay attention closely, some traps can happen, some failures happen more often when you only see it on one indicator. That's why I've been paying attention to a failure of this signal this entire time. Is this signal failing as of right now? No. You are curled up on the daily scale in positive territory. This is a risky time. And you have not seen what? The things that we were talking about. You have not seen the 2-hour divergence. You have not seen a 2-hour lower high in any fashion so far. So this is a big deal. Now, what is volatility calling for tomorrow, right? What is volatility calling for Thursday and Friday? And you notice on the right side of your screen right over here that volatility was down by 10%. So when volatility is down by 10%, you have historical data that suggests that the probable thing is 85% probability that you will see a down day in the next 2 trading sessions. Notice that is not 100%. You don't have to, and you don't have to see some kind of mega crash or anything like that. But the state of the market right now means what? I have an 85% chance for a down day in the next 2 trading sessions. How would that get ugly, right? That's what I'm considering right now. Well, as we go and retest that 5-day moving average, if we're able to curl up into positive territory, if you want to see fireworks in this market, you want to see a crash, you will see this 2-hour curl up, and it's not going to create a divergence. It's not going to create a lower high, but it's going to see some kind of move that kind of goes to the upside and just goes nuts. So I want to be very, very cautious with bullish plays if this 2-hour is able to confirm up into positive territory, because that doesn't have to create a divergence or a lower high initially. You want to see the lower high proven with the confirmation, proven by curling up and failing, or you want to see that divergence point, and we want to see some kind of move from volatility that then fails and gives us that divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time. This is what I really want to see. So what can we utilize? How can we figure out or say what's very probable for the market going into tomorrow? Well, I think considering the Qs were able to do a great thing, and considering the 85% probability for a down day or for an up day, a down day in the market, an up day for the VIX, and the VIX is saying, hey, I still need to show you the 2-hour lower high, the 2-hour divergence, then in the next 2 trading sessions, I should probably be looking for a pullback. So for tomorrow, in my opinion, the highest probable thing to see is potentially a pullback, maybe even down all the way to that daily expected move so the Qs can take care of their gap. But if it does pull back, it can look risky, but if that's able to curl back up into positive territory, you might be carving out that higher low. If the Qs are able to curl all the way down to here and see something bad, you can see that that kind of rapid move would get people really, really bearish, when really, what if it's just taking care of a gap, testing those buyers, and if those buyers step up to the plate and you see a confirmation here on the price action there, on the MACD, on the RSI all at the same time, this is going to say that we're testing the high and going to make a new one, which means that 2-hour chart can keep going into positive territory for the Qs, which means the 2-hour can attempt to go positive for the SPY. This is all what I'm watching for going into tomorrow, and I think the most probable thing to happen is a 30-minute pullback down to the daily expected move, where we just confirm up into positive territory, mark off a higher low, and then we get off to the races to the upside. Now, that being said, am I going to play around if that 2 hours cross down? No, I'm not. I'm going to make sure that I see these things proven in the charts before making a decision. But I told you guys this whole time, what I was looking for was some kind of what? Some kind of cheeky higher low, which is what I think is actually very probable going into tomorrow. Some kind of cheeky divergence. I don't think that's very probable anymore. I would be very scared of any move that takes us down to test these buyers down here. But I was looking for the higher low scenario, for the good structure for the left head and right shoulder. I was looking for the cheeky higher low in here to really start its own positive trend. And I think that this one is the most probable one going into tomorrow. So hopefully I'm able to make a decision with my trading if this move is able to take place. Hey, thank you guys for watching this video. video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. You guys are fantastic. I hope you guys are having a good time with markets. I hope you guys are out there trading like water, using your reasons, using your rules, whatever you want to call them, and having a plan for if you're wrong and taking risk into consideration at these times. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.